Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Obviously, a very happy David67, a very relieved David67 because last night Celtic got themselves over the line with a magnificent, convincing 5-0 away win against Kilmarnock. And at the same time, the Celtic women's side, the girls, won 3-1 away at Hearts, a very difficult ground to go to, and we'll be doing a separate video for a review of the Celtic women's win last night. And this video is concentrating solely on the 5-0 win against Kilmarnock yesterday evening that put us over the line, and I think was one of Celtic's best performances all season. I think it's pretty much the second time all season that we've played well, both in the first half and the second half. The last time I think Celtic had a dominant first half and a dominant second half was against Aberdeen, and even in that match, we kind of died away in the first part of the second half against Aberdeen. I think it says an awful lot for Celtic's team that it's pretty much the first time we've played well from minute 1 to minute 90 plus added time all season, and yet here we are, having won the title 3 in a row and 12 out the last 13. Pretty amazing record for Celtic. So, before we crack on with the video, just a wee apology. There is a video I did a few days ago, which was after the Rangers Celtic match, game in which I put in some highlights. Those highlights have had to be removed due to a copyright request. I'm not quite sure who the copyright request actually is from or whether it's legitimate, given the fact I use BBC footage and Sky footage, and neither of them enforce any kind of copyright rules. However, I wonder whether it was some form of overseas channel that has copyright control outside of the UK. However, so apology, that video looks a wee bit disjointed as the 4 or 5 minutes of highlights have now had to be removed, so I do apologise. I am putting in some highlights into this video, which are Sky highlights, and I wouldn't expect Sky is going to enforce their copyright on that. So let's crack on with the actual game. I thought Celtic had a brilliant performance. Matarali, man of the match, scored the fourth and fifth goals, set up the first goal, involved in pretty much everything Celtic did yesterday. I thought he had a great game. I thought Callum McGregor had a great game. Adam Ida, I think, had a really good game. I was quite surprised that Rodgers went with Ida up front, but it very much worked out. And I do wonder whether Ida gets the start against St Mirren on Saturday, with a view to having him starting the game against Rangers. Although personally, I would love to see Kyogo starting against Rangers at Hampden Park, as I feel he does give Celtic a wee bit more against that particular Rangers team. However, we'll see that as the next week or so unfolds. Pretty much, I think every single Celtic player had a great game. I was very impressed with Liam Scales. Still a wee bit dodgy passing, but his defence was good. He got himself forward several times. Wonderful left foot drive that was deflected over the bar very well by the Kilmarnock goalkeeper. Got himself in the box several times. Neither scored from a few corner kicks. I thought it was one of Liam Scales' best performances all season. Greg Taylor was good. Alistair Johnson was good. Carter Vickers was very reassured. Joe Hart had hardly anything to do. Did look like he may have been injured, although seemed to recover fully from that, given the way he celebrated at the end of the game. Rio Tati, I thought, got involved far better. Some nice passing, involved in the second goal. Dyson Maida scored and set up the third goal. It was an all-round great game. James Forrest involved setting up the second goal and scored the third. And I thought both Palmer and Kuhn, some nice touches, some nice moves, got themselves heavily involved in the game when they came off the bench. Iwata did a typical Iwata, keeping things tidied up and calm in midfield. It allowed us to rest a few players for the last half hour or so after we went 4-0 up in the first 51st minute. So just going to pop in those video highlights, hopefully no copyright strikes attached to these. I have got the copyright disclaimer, which usually does avoid any copyright problems, but as I say, this mysterious CID live stream do appear to have the copyright in some way for the Rangers Celtic footage from the weekend. So enjoy the highlights, and then we'll have a wee chat about the goals, a wee chat about St Mirren on Saturday, and then we can all go away and celebrate even more. So those were the edited Sky highlights of the 5 goals from last night. First goal, lovely goal in the 5th minute by Adam Ida from just inside the 6-yard box. He won the ball very well in midfield. The ball eventually got out to Matt O'Reilly. Bit of a 1-2 on the edge of the box. He then broke in behind the defence, cross across the Kilmarnock goal, and Adam Ida running in side by side with Dyson Maida, beat Maida to the ball and scored to put us up in 5 minutes. Brilliant start to the game. We reinforced that in the 12th minute. Similar move. Some nice interchange on the edge of the box between Rio Hatate and James Forrest. James Forrest then in behind the Kilmarnock defence. Lovely cross across the 6-yard box, and Dyson Maida won the challenge in the middle of the 6-yard box. Put it into the net, 2-0 up. Similar goal for goal 3, this time from James Forrest in the 35th minute. Adam Ida, a lovely reverse pass inside the Kilmarnock defender. Dyson Maida running in behind. Lovely cross across the box, and James Forrest smashed the ball in for the 3rd goal, and that pretty much put the game beyond Kilmarnock's reach at half time. Second half, Matt O'Reilly, wonderful left foot, powerful shot into the top of the net, completely unstoppable, and then scoring ended with goal 5 in the 71st minute. Celtic won the ball again in midfield after a clearance from Kilmarnock goalkeeper. Ball got out wide to Nicholas Kuhn. Some nice dribbling from Nicholas Kuhn on the right wing, cutting inside and then setting up Matt O'Reilly for a very calm, collected side foot finish past the Kilmarnock goalkeeper for 5-0 up. Kilmarnock did have a goal disallowed. That was in the incident where Joe Hart also seemed to injure himself, but the goal was offside correctly. Kilmarnock hardly threatened the Celtic goal throughout the whole game, and we could have certainly added even one or two more goals, and possibly the closest we got is when the Kilmarnock defender Wright hit his own bar trying to clear a Celtic pass into the box. And so some nice celebrations at the end of the game. Some nice new T-shirts for all the players to wear, touting 3 in a row. Thought also Sky's coverage was a bit amateur. Their sound was rather poor for that post-match celebration area at a time. The microphones for most of the people talking weren't working, only seemed to have one working microphone, so a wee bit of a shambles with that. So I ended up actually not missing the last 5-10 minutes of Sky's celebratory coverage yesterday evening, as it was getting rather frustrating, half hearing what Neil Lennon and Brendan Rodgers were saying, as only Ailey Barber's microphone was working properly. So lots and lots and lots of positives, very few negatives, if any. Celtic did seem to have a few injuries during the game, Rio Hatate, Joe Hart being the most obvious. However, they both seemed to be able to play on after a bit of physio magic, and it looks like Celtic will be having their full squad going into the game against St Mirren. I suspect that Brendan Rodgers probably will rest a few players, give a few of the backup players a wee bit of a chance, and then bringing on players such as Forrest, McGregor, Hatate, Maeda later on in the game, or playing all of them for 50-60 minutes and then bringing on the Palmas and the Kuhns and the Iawatas and the Bernardos to give them a bit of a rest in preparation for the Cup at the weekend. So it's going to be a great day of celebration, trophy presentation, etc. on Saturday, and I'm fully convinced that Celtic will have again a nice convincing win on Saturday. And I think, to quote a song, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. A song that kind of shows my age, but in essence, when the games got high intensity, high importance, Celtic's players stepped up 2 or 3 rungs, and Rangers players fell down 2 or 3 rungs. And in the big games all season, Celtic stepped up, which is why we won 3 of the 4 Rangers matches this season, and the other was a draw, in which I think most people would agree that we had just about deserved the win, but for a wee bit of poor defending, and to give him credit, a very, very good goal by Matondo in the 94th minute in that 3-3 draw. So, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll be doing some videos later this week concentrating on the Celtic St Mirren match on Saturday, and after that then we'll start looking towards the Cup final the following Saturday. So for today, well done Celtic, champions again, 3 in a row, 12 out of 13. You've done us proud in the end. Goodbye and hail, hail.